Hey, this is Maryam from Crochet Chillpill, and today we want to learn how to crochet cluster cross granny square. I used this color of yarn, 3.5mm crochet hook yarn needle, and scissors. Let's get started. Grab your yarn to begin and make a knot, then chain 8 and make a slip stitch to the first chain to create a circle. We have a circle now. Now chain 3 and these 3 chains count as our first double crochet. Now we should start shaping our cluster with double crochets. This is our first double crochet. We should make our clusters with 3 double crochets. This was our first double crochet. Now yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over, pull it through 2 loops, yarn over again, insert the hook, yarn over, pull it through 2 loops. Now we have 3 loops on the hook. And this was our first cluster, but next cluster we'll have 4 loops on the hook at the end. And we should yarn over and pull it through all 4 loops. Here, yarn over, pull it through all 3 loops. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Make another cluster into the same space. Yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over, pull it through 2 loops. Yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over, pull it through 2 loops. Yarn over, insert it, yarn over, pull it through 2 loops. Now we have 4 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull it through all 4 loops. Chain 2, 1, 2. Make a cluster into the same space. Chain 5 and make another cluster into the same space. And repeat the process this way. Chain 2, make a cluster, then chain 5, make another cluster, and repeat this process to the end. At the end we should have 8 clusters in total. I'm at the end of the row. I have 7 clusters in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I chain 5 and make a cluster into the same space, the last cluster, the 8th one. Chain 2 and make a slip stitch to the first cluster. Like this, and this is what we have at the end of row 1. Row 2, make a slip stitch into the chain 5 space and make a cluster into the same space. My first double crochet for this cluster is 3 chains. This is my first double crochet. Then we should make 2 more double crochets. We should work them in half. Or instead of 3 chains, for the beginning you can make 1 single crochet plus 2 chains. This way you'll have a nicer and cleaner project. Yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over, pull it through 2 loops, yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over, pull it through 2 loops. You have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull it through all 3 loops. When you make 3 chains instead of 1 single crochet plus 2 chains, you'll have a little gap like this. Chain 2 and make another cluster with double crochets into the same space. Yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over, pull it through 2, yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over, pull it through 2 loops, yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over, pull it through 2 loops. You'll have 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull it through all 4 loops. Chain 2 into this chain space between our 2 clusters, make 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Chain 2 into the next chain 5 space, make 1 cluster with double crochets, chain 2 and make a cluster into the same space. Chain 2, into the next chain 2 space, make 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And repeat this process to the end of the row. At the end of the row, when you chain 2, make a slip stitch to the first cluster. This is our granny square at the end of row 2. To begin row 3, make a slip stitch to the next chain 2 space right here, right next to your slip stitch. And make a cluster with double crochets into the same space. My first double crochet is a single crochet plus 2 chains, as I told you, to have a nicer and cleaner project. Then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. We'll have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, chain 2. Now we reached the chain space, the chain 2 space before our 3 double crochets. Right here, make 2 double crochets into this chain 2 space. 1 and 2. Make 1 double crochet into each of the next 3 double crochets. Here's the first one, the second one, and the third one. Make 2 double crochets into the next chain 2 space. 1, 2. Chain 2. Into the chain 2 space between our 2 clusters, make 1 cluster with double crochets. Chain 2 and make another cluster into the same space. Chain 2 and we reach the space before our 3 double crochets. Make 2 double crochets in it. 1, 2. Make 1 double crochet into each of our double crochets. Make 2 double crochets into the next chain 2 space. Then chain 2 and make 1 cluster, chain 2, 1 cluster into the next chain 2 space between our clusters, and chain 2, make 2 double crochets into the next chain 2 space, then make 1 double crochet into each of our double crochets, and repeat this process to the end of the row. At the end of the row, when you made your last double crochets, chain 2, and we reach this chain 2 space between our 2 clusters. Make 1 cluster into the space with double crochets. Chain 2 and make a slip stitch to the first cluster. This is what we have at the end of the row. To begin row 4, make a slip stitch into the next chain 2 space and make 2 double crochets into the same space. My first double crochet is a single crochet plus 2 chains. Make the other double crochet as usual. Make 1 double crochet into each of our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 double crochets. So make 1 double crochet into each of our next 7 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Into our chain 2 space, make 2 double crochets, 1, 2. Chain 2, and we reach this chain 2 space between our 2 clusters, as you can see. Make 1 cluster with double crochets, chain 3, and 1 more cluster into the same space. So this is my first cluster, first double crochet cluster. Chain 3 and make another double crochet cluster into the same space. Chain 2, into the next chain 2 space, make 2 double crochets, 1, 2. Into each of the next 7 double crochets, make 1 double crochet, into the next chain 2 space, 2 double crochets, then chain 2, into the chain 2 space between our clusters, make 1 cluster, chain 3, 1 cluster, chain 2, and repeat this process to the end of the row. At the end of the row, chain 2, and make a slip stitch to the first double crochet. My first double crochet was a single crochet plus 2 chains. Make it in that second chain. Chain 1 and cut the yarn. This is the end of our project, and this is how it looks like. And after finishing your project, weave in all ends and we'll be done.